Hi, and welcome to the Travel Boss. Today's video is about the top 10 things to do in Palermo. The capital of Sicily, Palermo sits at the edge of Europe and at the heart of the ancient world. Its centuries-old cultural mix means you'll find soup-like markets and mosaic tile churches, alongside the best Mediterranean street food and bars that deliver a knockout aperitivo hour. Surrounded by mountains on Sicily's northwestern coast, Palermo was founded by Phoenician traders in the 8th century. It's been shaped by many different cultures over the centuries, from Greek and Roman to Byzantine and Arabic, a legacy that's reflected in its varied cuisine and architecture. Let's get started. Number 10. Palermo Cathedral. Palermo Cathedral, also known as the Cathedral of the Assumption of the Virgin Mary, is perhaps the most astounding building in Sicily. It's also one of Italy's most striking cathedrals. The construction began in the 12th century under the Norman Archbishop Walter Offamo. The initial building was raised on top of a Byzantine church, which later became a mosque. What will strike you right away when visiting the Catedral de Palermo is the combination of architectural styles of the building. They result from the cathedral's many additions and alterations over the centuries. It's hard not to be impressed by the size of this cathedral with its outstretching turrets and wide portico. You can spend hours staring at it and walking through the pretty garden, decorated with statues. Number 9. Trip to Cefalù. One of the most popular day trips from Palermo is to Cefalù, some 70 kilometers east of the city. Dominated by its Norman cathedral, Cefalù has many interesting historic sites, narrow medieval streets, and small squares. Like many other Sicilian towns, Cefalù bears witness to the various cultures that passed through it over the centuries. One of the most fascinating attractions in Cefalù is the Lavatoio Medievale, an historical place where women came to wash their clothes back in medieval times. Here you can see how the water used to fill up the small pools and where it flowed through a small channel out to the sea. Number 8. The Fontana Pretoria. If there is one place in Palermo that you'll want to photograph from all angles, is the gorgeous Fontana Pretoria, Praetorian fountain. Located right in the heart of Piazza Pretoria, the fountain displays ornamental staircases and elaborated statues depicting Greek gods, nymphs, grotesque animal heads, and other mythological figures. Interestingly enough, this marvel was originally made for a private villa in Florence and was only later transferred to Palermo. But few expected the public outrage at the unveiling of the fountain. The prude Palermitans considered the fountain a total disgrace and were very offended by the nude statues. In time, they learned to live with the fountain, but they always referred to it as the Fountain of Shame. Number 7. Chiesa di Santa Caterina. The north end of the Piazza Pretoria is occupied by the huge wing of the Church of Santa Caterina, a former Dominican monastery. This stunning masterpiece of 16th century Sicilian Baroque is an absolute must-see in Palermo. Visiting just this one church would justify your entire trip to Palermo. But don't judge the church from the outside. The real gem is its magnificent interior. Many people miss it because of its plain and simple exterior. We entered the church mainly because we wanted to go up to the rooftop terrace to photograph Fontana Pretoria, but didn't expect it to be so beautiful. There are lots of finely detailed patterns, marble inlays, stucco work, and frescoes. Number 6. Chiesa di San Giuseppe dei Teatini. Another jewel in Palermo that is easily missed is the Church of San Giuseppe dei Teatini, right across from Fontana Pretoria. The church entrance is quite obscure. A large door with twin columns on either side and a bas-relief above. At first glance, you may not even realize this building is a church. Other buildings in the city have similar entrances. It was only from across the road that you can notice the large gleaming dome above it. When you step through the door, however, you find yourself in a monumental church nave with 2 aisles and huge marble columns. The decor is quite extravagant, with frescoes, carvings, and many ornaments that showcase the upper columns and arches. Number 5. Trip to Segesta. The Greek temple at Segesta is one of few in the world with all its columns in place. And just as wondrous as the temple is the beautiful countryside setting around it. You can admire it from below the temple as you drive up, or even better from the Greek theater above it, which enjoys an even more beautiful view. The temple itself is very atmospheric. Even if archaeology is not your passion, the beautiful drive to Segesta alone and the view from up there make this trip worth the effort. Although the ruins are not as extensive as the ones at Agrigento or Syracuse, they are well worth a look. Take the little bus right up to the Greek Theater, especially on a hot day, although many people will choose to climb. This is a wonderful place to spend a couple of hours away from the hustle and bustle of a big city. With so much to do and see in Palermo, it can sometimes be nice to take a day off and simply relax. Number 4. Teatro Massimo. Teatro Massimo is as impressive inside as it is on the outside, so if you have 30 minutes to spare, don't hesitate to take the behind-the-scenes tour. It's the largest opera house in Europe. You will find out a lot about its history and even be escorted to the stage and the royal box. You will also get up to the roof terrace from where you can enjoy beautiful views of the city. Number 3. Church of San Giovanni degli Eremiti. Located near the Royal Palace and famous for its brilliant red dome, the Church of San Giovanni is one of my favorite spots in Palermo. I love spending a little time in its beautiful garden. It's an oasis of tranquility in the frenetic Palermo. The church's origins go back to the 6th century. Over its history, Chiesa di San Giovanni went from a Christian church to a mosque and then returned to the Christians. But despite that, the church exudes an air of Orientalism with strong Muslim influences. Admire Palermo's most famous religious mosaic at the Monreale Cathedral. Number 2. The Pažaislis Monastery. Another must-see attraction in Palermo is the beautiful Monreale Cathedral, just a short distance away from the city on the slopes of Monte Caputo. The cathedral is a great example of Norman architecture. Few people do not gasp in awe when they enter the Duomo of Monreale. This cathedral is much more than just another church. The interior of the cathedral is in the shape of a Latin cross with 3 naves, divided by marble columns. The walls are adorned with mosaics depicting stories from the Old and New Testaments. Number 1. Palermo's markets. One of the most exciting things to do in Palermo is a stroll through the city's vibrant markets that bustle with shoppers and sellers. The 4 historic quarters of Palermo each have their market. But when it comes to charm and popularity, Baloro, Butzeria, and Capo are the most prominent ones. Nowhere is Palermo's chaotic vibe more obvious than in these open-air markets. Locals shout at each other and praise their merchandise to everyone that passes by. Stacks of exotic foods are artfully displayed on every stall and every street corner. Palermo's street markets are not the cleanest, nor are they the place where upper-class Italians shop, but that doesn't make them any less attractive. What do you think about this video? Do let us know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video and want to hear from us again, be sure to hit that subscribe button before you go.